What's good, everybody? This is Skip from BK, host of Dreams Money Can Buy. Wherever you are in the world, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. We have in the building today, it's been a long time coming. Schedule conflicts. I was traveling, he was handling business, but we're in the building with Nick Watkin. Now, I had to practice this a couple of times before we actually sat down, because he actually has a funny story about that. Before we even talk about anything with his talents, Nick, why did your parents not give you the proper last name?
So when my dad immigrated from Jamaica, he originally had the Watkins with the S at the end of it on his name. But for some reason, during because my older sister has it, but during paperwork for me and my younger sister, and even him when he finally became a citizen of the United States, it got messed up. So my older sister has the S at the end of it. I don't, me and my little sister don't. And my dad doesn't have the S at the end of his last name as of right now.
That's crazy.
And it's a hard process to try and fix it. And I just don't want to go through that.
Also, you would have to get a new social and everything, because even though you're the same person,
you have to.
It's not worth it.
It's not worth it.
But just in case, I had to practice it. So if you do say it with an S, it's technically right and technically not right. So heads up with that. But I am excited to have a conversation with you, because I don't feel like a lot of people really get to kind of dive deep into your origin story. I think people focus on where you are currently, with a lot of great images when you do you recently went to Rolling Loud. You've done so many concert photographical moments, words. And I think for you is your style that you've kind of cultivated over the last
4 years.
Yeah, 3 to 4 years. Well, yeah, 4 years. It's been the evolution is really cool, but I really want to see, all right, Nick has a very keen eye. What has he done when he was growing up to get to this point, right? So let's go all the way back to a kid. Where did you go to school?
I went to my local elementary school, which is literally right across the street from my crib. PS 178, and I went to MS 181.
Okay.
Back then, I used to draw all the time. So, whenever I was in class, I was always doodling. My teacher would get upset with me, "Oh, why aren't you paying attention?" And it was just I'm drawing. This is what I do to calm myself down. This is what I do to for enjoyment. This is funny because I would used to print out Dragon Ball Z pictures.
And you used to trace them and sketch them too,
I used to get wax paper and just trace over them and just add just color them in, just for entertainment purposes, because I couldn't play my PS2 when I was younger. Didn't really go outside. I wasn't a social kid at the end, when I was younger. So it was just all right, find something to do. I used to love Dragon Ball Z. Used to trace Dragon Ball Z pictures.
So what we're understanding is, do you still draw now, or is you kind of transitioned that into your other skills?
I think I transitioned that into my other skills. I am horrible at drawing.
But even though you were horrible at drawing, right? When you were tracing them, did you actually color them in, kind of those comic books and mangas and type stuff?
Yeah.
Did you? That's important, right? Because I think with you, and we'll talk about it with the photography and how rich the color schemes are with that. It's I knew you had to do something with some type of visual thing, right?
Yeah.
Because those are the type of skills that you did when you're younger to understand, all right, this works with this color. Or if I'm coloring out this cartoon character and making my own version of it, the Nick remix, how would I add more flavor to it? How would I make it look great and pop the way I want it to? So you kept doodling, I'm guessing, through elementary and middle school, right? Did you keep doing anything like that, or was it starting to change into other areas of the creative side of you?
When I towards the end of middle school, I stopped doing it.
Okay.
And throughout high school, I didn't do it at all.
Mm-hmm.
It was really weird. High school was a very, very weird time for me.
Okay. Transitional thing.
I would always get I don't know why, but it was always I was kind of detached. I was there, but also detached from everybody in high school. It was weird. I didn't really do anything artistic. I tried to get into sports. My first 2 years, I literally would just go to school and go home. It was nothing in between. I didn't do anything. And in my last 2 years, I started opening up a little bit more. Tried to join the football team in junior year. That didn't work out because of like my work schedule, because I was working at the school, which is wild.
What were you doing? What job were you able to work at the school?
So it wasn't really after school. It was like the summertime.
Okay.
So I was the janitor of the school. So like we would have to clean out it was weird. Clean out all the lockers. We would have to scrape all the desks that had gum. We would have to clean out the gym, cafeteria, move shit back after they waxed the floors. It was physical labor at the age of 15 and 16.
Was that like summer youth?
No.
So you were really working with the school?
I was really working for the school.
So wait, what salary did they give you?
They actually paid me more than minimum wage.
Because I was about to say, because if it's not through summer youth, it's like, yo, they have to actually pay you.
They paid us remember minimum wage at that time. So like I was 15, 16, I'm 20. That's like almost 10, 12 years ago. Minimum wage was like $7.50 still.
Like $7, yeah. And
they started us at 12.
God damn.
And then like the next year, the minimum wage went up to like $9.25 or some shit, and we were still at 12. So we were making we were working 40-hour weeks.
Yo,
making bank.
So okay, so just like going through what just happened, we were talking about like you're tracing, you're going through like that artistic kind of like phase, right? And then when you get to high school, you kind of,
stagnate and just...
It's not even stagnate. I feel like what happens a lot when we go through like middle school and like high school, it's like you're kind of like reevaluating yourself and not really rebranding consciously, but it's like I'm learning myself, right? What do I give a fuck about? What do I not give a fuck about? And right now you're kind of like, look, school sucks. And it's like, I don't know what I want to do. I'm just trying to be here. And so I was like, all right, I'm kind of cool with y'all. Let me figure out sports. And if that doesn't work out, blah, blah.
And it wasn't even, it's like a shift, because I went from public school with like kids that grew up in the neighborhood to private school.
So that's a big, that
like
makes more sense now.
Catholic school.
That makes more sense because now you don't know nobody here. So it's like, I don't know you people, right?
Like I knew 2 people, no, 4, because I grew up with them, and they happened to get in too. And they were actually surprised that I actually got into school in middle school. Okay. Very weird. But like going back to our artisanal thing, like when I first started, I drew the Kanye teddy bear. Okay. I cut it out and made it into a sticker. I don't even know where it is anymore. I did that, and I did like a couple of other things in my art class. But after like the first 2 years, you're just like, all right, like there's no artistic means at all in this. So it was weird. But I know junior year, one of my classmates, his name is Palotton, he brought in his camera, and
so this is when you're like
a junior in college, high school,
and then you're doing like so when you're doing the janitor thing, because it's important to get bread, because bread is needed for camera and supplies, right? Yeah. So was that before junior or after junior year?
That was before and after.
So you had like both those summers.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
But I absolutely never brought a camera until like probably like 4 years ago. Okay. So he brought in his camera to class because he was like the photographer of the school. Everybody loved him. Everybody loved his work. I even still have a sweatshirt that he made. But he brought in his camera, and I just asked him like, "Yo, can I just start messing around with it?" And he was just like, "Yeah, sure, fine." Started taking a couple pictures, and I was just like, "Oh, this is fun. This is fun." And like whenever he would bring his camera in, I'd mess around with it, play with it.
Do you remember the model of the camera?
It was, I believe, a Nikon. I'm not too sure. It definitely wasn't like the beginner series. I think it was like a D740 or some shit. It was like the older model, but it was so fun to like mess around with because it's like I've never seen a camera before. So that was like in the beginning of the year, and then my grandmother passed away. Okay. Like midway through, it was actually during midterm week that my grandmother passed away, and I was going through it.
Yeah, you were distraught.
Yeah. So me tell you like the most weirdest shit that happened to me. I was taking my Spanish midterm and I was crying midway through it because I'm like, I don't want to be here. My grandmother's passing away. Like this, I don't need to be here. Mm-hmm. But I had to because they wouldn't let me reschedule it. Like I'm crying, and then next thing you know, I look out behind me, and like this random beam of light just, boom, right onto me, like nobody else, but right onto me in the classroom, and I was just like, okay, she's at peace. Now I got to get to work. So like we're going through her things after she passes away, after we lay her to rest. And my mother tells me like, "Hey, she brought a camera for you guys. It's here if you guys want to use it. Like, it's in the room. Like, just let me know ahead of time." I knew my sisters didn't want to use it. Like, my older sister maybe, but like my little sister didn't want to use it. She had no interest in like photos and stuff like that. So I was just like, "Oh, okay. Like, I have an interest in photos. Might as well take it." Started taking like photos of my friends.
What models the camera that grandma had?
Canon Rebel XSI. Wow. It's some like old school shit.
Okay.
I remember like being like,
and it was like film. It wasn't a point.
It was like a DSLR.
So it was like a digital.
Yeah, it was like a digital camera.
Okay.
So it was fun to use it because it's just like you find like ways to use it. And you discover your style with it. I sparingly used it. I didn't use it much like throughout the rest of my high school years. Played football my senior year. That didn't go well because the coach didn't like me.
Okay.
What else? Like senior year was fun. Like I did take the camera out a couple of times to like school events to like take pictures and just have memories of, but I lost all of them shits because the files got corrupted. And then I graduated. And then summer happened, didn't really take much photos. Then I got into Nassau community because me thinking like, oh, I could play football in college. I went to a junior college. Got there and I was just like, oh, these motherfuckers is big and fast. I'm good. So got there, stayed there for 2 years, wasn't happy, wasn't like doing anything really, didn't know what the fuck I wanted to do. Like I tried to like change my course of like what major I wanted to do like 15 different times. So I was just like, all right, I got to get out of here. And I went to Brooklyn College. Brooklyn College is what like changed everything for me. Got there, got into like TV and radio because my boy like convinced me like, yo, Nick, like you're a good talker. You can, do this radio stuff. So I was like, okay, cool. Maybe I could start a podcast soon. Obviously that didn't work out, but he was like, oh, you also have your camera. So like take pictures. So I remember there was like, I forgot what it was called. Like when they have like a spring fest.
Oh yeah, because all the CUNYs like would have like some type of springtime event.
Yeah, but this is at Hofstra, so like, okay. He had Vic Mensa, SZA.
Wow.
And I believe one other famous rapper right now performing, and I was just like, fuck it, I'll bring my camera. The photos didn't come out good at all, but I looked at them and I was just like, oh, this is fun. Like, I can do this on a regular basis. And I was just like, okay, let me continue to try and do this.
So when you said the photos didn't come out good, what is it like you looking back at it right now with your level of talent, knowing those weren't good, or at the time I just knew this is not that good?
Yeah, these are not that good.
Okay.
Because they were from the crowd and they were from like 30, 40 feet back from like where the stage was.
Because you're not with the press box and stuff like that. Okay.
So looked at them, I was just like, all right, cool. These are garbage. I got a picture with Vic and I got a picture with SZA.
Okay.
Which was fire.
Fire.
And And then I sat back and I was just like, okay, cool. Like I can do this. I just need to figure out how to like get to that point. So this is, and I believe 2014 to 2016. Like I was just trying to figure out like how to get to that point. Got kicked out of Brooklyn because my grades weren't good at all. It got to a point where like I was working 40 hours a week, taking 18 credits, and I had to pay back some money to Macy's for some shit that I did when I worked there.
What happened? Are you even legally allowed to talk about it? If you're not, let's not talk about it.
No, we are.
Like, let's talk about it.
Like, how you call it? Like, I changed the prices on some of the stuff there for like friends and a couple of people that just like showed up, just like as a random act of kindness. But I had to pay it back. It was like $3,000.
Goddamn, Nick.
Yeah. And I was only making like 11 at Planet Fitness at the time.
Because you were working at Macy's and Planet Fitness at the same time?
No, I was working at Macy's first, got suspended, but you know when they say they suspend you, they're just going to fire you, but not tell you.
Yeah.
And then I got hired to Planet Fitness like 2 months later. And I was just like, okay, let me hone in, just work, try and pay this shit off. Luckily, I paid it off in like 6 months, which is amazing. But
especially we're at $11 an hour. That is not that easy, bro.
It's not. But I had the help of my mom, so I can thank her for that. So I don't have that lingering over my head, especially since like that may be may affect your credit later on down the line. But yeah, changed the prices on some shit, and then I regretted it later on because like nobody helped me pay back.
It's like one of the things that I always find interesting, and it's like obviously this is like one of those lessons that you had to kind of go through. When you do like an act of kindness thing, every time you kind of do those things, a lot of times the people that benefit off of it, they're never there to like kind of bail you out. The only person that could bail you out was your mom, right? Yeah. And then it kind of goes to shows like, yo, was it worth it, right?
Yeah, it wasn't worth it. I can say, because I didn't get, I didn't get shit out of it. Like I used my discount for my pair of shorts and my windbreaker that I had at the time, and like everything else was like me paying for it. Like it just wasn't worth it.
But it was like an important life lesson.
Yeah, it was an important life lesson.
I think now it's like, it goes to show for you, like, if I'm going to do something for someone else, one, it has to be someone that I know is going to appreciate it. And two, we're in the trenches. Like, I'm doing something for you. Don't, like, just abandon me as well. I didn't tell you to do it. It's like, wow. Because that's pretty much what these people did. Like, you did this act of kindness, and you were like, not that you asked for anybody help. It's like, yo, bro, come on. It's like, nah, it's not my problem.
Yeah.
So.
And I got let go from Planet Fitness, like, 3 months after I started, which is another story.
So I'm trying to see like a thing, especially when it comes to school and work, right? Academics, you just hate that shit. It's kind of boring to you. It's really restrictive, and it doesn't give you that free-flowing creative control that you love, right? Yeah. Which is things you do in photography. When it comes to work, a lot of jobs that you were doing, you know, whether it be retail or it's kind of like customer servicey, like with the Planet Fitness, you're kind of like, man, I'm here, I'm trying to do work, but you don't really want to be there. Like, you're just there because it's a job and I need to get some type of income to do stuff.
And like at the time, I was like a gym rat. So I was like always in the gym. I was in the gym early, working out, work, and then like right after in the gym, like working out again. It was like consistent. And I was happy doing that at that point. But I got let go because of some fucking retarded bullshit. Like, I got thrown under the bus because my coworker went out with a guy for like 6 hours and left me on shift by myself. And I was just sitting there like, yo, I have to use the bathroom. I can't leave this front desk. Like, the fuck? That happened.
So it's another aspect of you being a very good character person, right?
But at the same time, I didn't know where she was. Like, I thought she went out to go to lunch. Disappeared for 6 hours. I'm confused. I don't know what's happening. I get thrown under the bus for letting one person in just to work out because his shit wasn't working properly.
Okay. So we're seeing a trend here where people just they're leaving you a pile of shit and you have to like somehow, you know, hold it down for the team type thing. Did you have a better experience at Under Armour? Did you?
Oh, whew. Actually, I didn't.
Goddamn.
So I was one of the first people hired to open up the store up in the Westchester Mall.
Okay.
God damn, you did your research.
Yes.
God damn. Yeah, so I was one of the first people to open up the store at the Westchester Mall. Literally from like bare bones to what it is now, I think. Well, what it was when it opened. And like in the beginning it was fun. Like I knew what I had to do. Like I wasn't joking around, I wasn't messing around. But because I didn't fit the scheme of what they wanted like the front facing people to look like, I got put back in the stock room.
Interesting. So similar to like the what's that brand? Abercrombie and Fitch type thing? Like
yeah.
When they were putting like Black and Latinx people in the back.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like I didn't have a problem like selling to people because I was good at it. Like I sold a bunch of people like golf pants, like winter gear, shoes. Like this is when the Currys first came out.
Wow. Okay.
So like the Curry ones, I was selling them like hotcakes. And I was like talking them up and telling them like, oh, this, and that. Even my boy Mike, because he's a Curry fan, I think he came to the store and got them.
From you?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was just like, yo, like I can do this. And they were like, no, we need you in the back. I'm like, whatever. So it got to a point where they cut my hours down to the point where I was only working like probably 1 or 2 times a month. And you know, like 1 or 2 times a month is just like...
That's nothing. You can't do nothing off of that. Like you might as well start looking for another job type thing.
And obviously I was kicked out of school. So like I was at home doing absolutely nothing, depressed in bed. I think I got to my skinniest. I was like 185.
Damn.
Because I wasn't eating, wasn't doing anything. Like I barely went outside. Like I was at home in bed 24/7 to the point where my mom and dad had to like curse me out and be like, yo, get up and do something. Like you're at home 24/7. Like you need to get out.
So this is when you're like 21, 22?
When did I?
22?
Yeah, just about when I was 22.
Okay, cool. Because you've been in proximity of camera since 17 because of that. You said Mike from high school. Was it Mike?
No.
What's his name?
Apollo Tan.
Apologies. So you played around with it. Then grandma died. You kind of like inherited her camera, but you weren't really using on it yet. But it was like, it's in the back of your mind. Yo, I can do this. But you've been so focused on trying to like get money, try to eat and survive. You didn't really focus like, yo, I can make something of this, right? So now you're at your skinniest. When is there a breakthrough that you kind of realize like Nick becomes like that Nick of like, I'm going to actually pick up this camera? We're not there yet, right?
No. So this actually happens right after this. So I get fired. I literally, I got suspended, but then I told them like, yo, fuck you guys. I quit. Like literally to the manager's face because there was not one black person there. And the only manager that vouched for me, they fired him because they didn't warn him or like give him heads up that he was going to get slammed with shipment because he was he was the operations manager and he got slammed with a bunch of shit. Like he had to move shit, take shit out. Like he got slammed and they let him go because nobody warned him, and the stockroom was a mess. He was the only one that would vouch for me and give me shifts. Like, there was at a certain point, he was having me come in like 3 or 4 days a week to help him out, just like with the stock stuff. And like literally the next day, he got fired. That happened. So I quit the week of Thanksgiving.
Okay.
And they were having me work Thanksgiving Day, and I was just like, fuck you guys. Like, straight up. A week later, I got hired at Levi's, and this is where, like, everything starts to click. I get back into school.
Are you going back to Brooklyn College or a different school?
Yeah, going back to Brooklyn College.
Okay.
Like, it got to a point where they were just like, listen, we need you above this point to get your GPA above, like, a 2.0, and then you're good. Got it above the 2.0, graduated with a 3.1 at that point.
And you guys understand that is a hard climb, bro. Hard climb.
Look, I started out with a 1.0 1.5. That was after my first semester. They didn't tell me shit. Like I knew like, okay, I got to bring this up. And the only way that I just missed the cut by like that much because my earth science professor fucked me over at the end of the day. He was just like, no, I'm not helping you. And gave me a D.
Instead of an F, because if you got an F, you can retake the course. But if you get a D, that's it. You can't do nothing about it.
Yeah, so he gave me a D, and it was at that point I had a 2.2, and all I needed was like a 2.3 to get above a 2.0. Fuck that whole shit up. So I was just like, okay. Got a year off from school, got to figure everything out, working at Under Armour and Levi's. Levi's is when everything starts to click. Got back into school, and I got hired at Adidas after 3 months after working at Levi's, and I was just like, deuces.
So this is the first time you actually be like, I'm done with this. I want to find something better.
Yeah. Okay. So working at Adidas, and I was actually talking to my boy Yancey because he got hired like a month after I did, and I was just like, yo, I'm gonna buy a camera. I'm gonna buy a camera and just figure everything out from then. My first camera was a Canon EOS Rebel T5. Yeah, T5.
Okay.
And that's when I just started going crazy. Brianni T had an event, Anti versus Lemonade.
I was there.
Yeah. I believe I met you there too.
Yeah, but I didn't really get to talk to you because I was there because my girlfriend at the time, she had an art piece up there, so I was like going there to support her and like I think 2 other people that I knew that did art. Mm-hmm. So I know you were there, and Julius was there doing some photography too when he was in his camera bag.
So I was always a fan of Julius. Like he's funny as hell. I do wish him the best right now. Because I know he's going through it with like work and shit. But I was talking to him and he was just like, yo, if you want to do this, just fucking go for it. Like, it's not that hard. Like, you just go for it. You just do things. So I took pictures of that event. Brianni loved it. And then I actually brought tickets to go to Panorama. And I was just like, I should sneak my camera in. Somehow, somewhere, the security guard let me in with my camera. And I was just like, yo, I left it in my bag. Like, I forgot it. I was at work earlier. Like, I just picked up the bag to go. He was just like, all right, cool. Just leave the shit in your bag. I'm like, okay. Okay. So, day goes by. I think, who was the lineup? It was Frank Ocean, Solange, MGMT. I fucked that up horribly. Isaiah Rashad, Jamila Woods, and like a couple of other people. First artist I shot there, like I pulled out my camera, it was Jamila Woods. Those came out, Like I still didn't understand lighting at the time. The very next person to come on, Isaiah Rashad. When I say he had that bitch jumping.
Okay.
And this is before his first album. This is around the time he had Sylvia Dema out. And that bitch was just jumping. Like everybody jumping in unison. Mm-hmm. And it was incredible to see. Everybody, like it got to the point where the floor collapsed in that one like little venue space at Panorama. And I took a picture of him and I sent it to him. I still have the messages on my phone. And he was like, yo, can you send me that? I'm like, yeah, sure. Like, he posted it, tagged me in it, and I was just like, this is it.
So, wait, when was that? That was 2007. 2007.
Yeah. And it was at that point where I was just like, okay, I can do this.
Wait, 2007 or 2017?
2017.
I was about to say, like, hold on. We're a lot older than... I was like, wait a minute. Okay, 2017.
2017.
Because I think... Yeah, so that's when I'm actually, like... I'm not following you on Instagram, but I'm, like... I'm in those circles of, like... I'm seeing your images retweeted everywhere. Yeah. So I was like, yo, this dude's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So you tagged in, get that shout out.
So that was when I first started my like photography Instagram. But like before then, I was just like I did like parties. So I did Dev, my boy Dev. He had like a party at one point, like in his backyard for his birthday.
Okay.
Shot that, and he loved all the photos. And then, like going back to Panorama, next person I shot was Solange, and that was an experience because it's just like this. She just released Cranes in the Sky, her album and shit. That was cool. And then Frank comes on. There's like a 30, 40-minute wait for Frank. And I'm like, nope, I'm hunkered down right here. Nobody moving me, nobody doing nothing. So Frank comes on, I shoot him, and it's just like awe-inspiring because it's just like, this is one of my favorite artists. This is everybody's favorite artist. Singer, can do literally anything and everything you can think of. And took photos, and people were seeing me like literally live drop the photos on my phone and edit them right there and then and just send them out. Like I was walking over the Randall's Island Bridge, like to go back into Harlem.
Yeah.
When I posted my Frank photos on Instagram, and they went fucking nuts.
Okay, so wait.
All right, so before then, I sent the photos to my homegirl, who was an intern at Complex at the time.
Okay. What's her name?
Nora.
Okay.
She was my friend's friend, but like I knew she worked at Complex. I was like, yo, I'll send them to you so like they can post them. Because I don't think anybody else had a photo pass for that day. I think it was closed off. I was the only one in the crowd in a prime position where I can get good photos of him.
That is crazy.
So I sent them to her. They posted it with her tag to the point where I had to go through Instagram and be like, yo, this is copyright infringement. This is my shit.
Yeah.
Had the Instagram took it down and they reposted it right back with my tag. And I was just like, okay, this is okay. Like now I know this is something I can do. And at that point, it was just like trying to find people and ways I can get to take photos in general. So I met my boy Setor at a Vic Mensa. I think this is when he was just released. He just signed to Rock Nation and like titled through a concert. And
so this is your second time meeting Vic, right? Because the first time,
it was second time.
Yeah.
Met my boy Setor and like a couple of other people there, and from there, me and Setor just like cultivated a relationship because we were both in this thing trying to make it happen. Mm-hmm. He's currently like working with like a bunch of different people. I'll give you his @name if you guys want later on.
We'll do it later.
Yeah.
Because it's all about Nick right now. So I respectfully focus on Nick.
No, but I got to shout out the people that helped me.
Shout him out. Yeah, shout out.
I had to shout out the people that helped me get to this point.
Yeah.
And from like the end of 2017 to like the beginning of 2018, I ended up landing an internship at Atlantic.
Okay.
I ended up working at ABC as an intern as well, for the Chew, a show that sadly got canceled like within like 3 months of being there.
Okay.
What else? It was just like a bunch of different concerts. Georgia Smith, Brent Fayez. Like I just brought my camera in. Like told them like, hey, I was at work, forgot it in my bag. Like
that lies saving your ass. But I do feel like what's kind of different when we're thinking you kind of like earlier, right? When you're going from like childhood to adolescence to like kind of like late teens, early 20s, when you were kind of like, right? Mm-hmm. And then now it's just like, there's more confidence. You're not depressed. Well, we're all kind of depressed, if we're being honest. That's never an ever, like, you don't stop being depressed, but it just levels to it. But it's workable. Like, all right, cool, life is lifing. But you're not dealing with bullshit from people, like, landing shit on you. You're actually kind of moving in your passion, right? And you're realizing that you're kind of getting good at this. Like, even when you said with Isaiah Rashad, like, you did, good with that shot because I got posted. And then each person after that was like, Isaiah Rashad, then Solange, then after that was Frank Ocean, and he was like, each time you're like, all right, you're like an anime character that you're like leveling up really quick in those things, and now you're at this Vic Mensa thing. How does that turn out for you? Because last time before you said they were kind of like, the first time you got to see him.
They actually turned out pretty good. I posted a couple of them.
Okay.
Since the time he said he really liked them, he hit me up on the DM too, And it was just like, okay, like I can continue doing this. Like I said, just have to find a way to continue doing this. Stayed at my internship for a year. Was shooting like a bunch of different stuff from like Ty, SZA.
Ty Dolla $ign?
Ty Dolla $ign.
Okay.
I saw him like 2 times within that like year span. It was wild. And it was fun. Like I posted a picture of SZA at the like Pandora had like a big concert at like Pier 36 before it was turned like into a basketball court. Posted a photo of her and she liked it. And I was just like, okay, like an artist liking my photo, like I know I can do this. Like this is baby shit now. Now you have to like understand.
So like how am I getting the press pass? How am I getting paid for this, right? Because you're getting the, you know.
To be fair, when you get a press pass, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're getting paid. You just have the access to take the photos.
To get paid. Well, you don't get paid from them. You get paid from the opportunity of getting those pictures that you can sell to whoever, right? I don't know how photography works.
It's weird. It's weird.
Oh, okay.
So when I first started out, I reached out, like DJ Booth reached out to me and was like, hey, can we use some of your photos? And it was actually the Vic photos from the title event. I was like, yeah, sure. Like I grew up reading DJ Booth from like when I was young. And he was just like, yo, like I want to chop it over with you. I want to like get you access to some of these stuff so like you can start shooting. The only caveat is like I can't pay you for it. And I was just like, that's fine. Like I'm getting free tickets to go see a show. I'd rather get a free ticket to go see a show rather than pay for it and then shoot it.
Yeah.
Like it alleviates much of the hassle. So like we chop it up, we start working together. And then 2018 comes and like this is in between shooting like a bunch of shows. I'm able to shoot Panorama 2018. And that was fun. Like that was my first festival experience where I can like go anywhere, do anything, move around like freely. And shot Daniel Caesar, Sabrina Claudio, and I was supposed to shoot The Weeknd that night.
Okay.
But because a rainstorm came and just like blew everything up, it was just like, okay, cool. Like wasn't meant to be. And it just kept raining that weekend to the point where they had to cancel the festival and refund everybody their money. It like that rainstorm just like blew everything up. So I was like, okay, cool. It's a lost opportunity, but at the same time, you know how to move now. You know how to move in a festival space. Graduate. And it like at that point, it was just like me finding work and then me operating in a space where I can move around and do different things. To the point where in the beginning of 2018, wait, when did the NBA All-Star game happen here in the city? That was 2018, right?
It's got to be because I know. I think 2019 was Charlotte.
No, I think they took it away at that point and they gave it to somebody else.
And then I think 2020 was Charlotte.
Yeah, 2020
they rewarded them for that. I think 2019, I don't remember where it was, but I think 2018 it was in.
It was here in the city
because we were doing alternating things. It was like one thing was in Madison Square Garden, the other one was in Barclays.
Okay, cool. So in 2018, in the beginning, like during around that time period, I met Ravy B. And I was just like, hey, like I want to help out with like whatever you're doing. Like I think you're a dope artist. I think that you're like what you do is amazing. And the fact that you come from the Bronx in the same area I grew up in is like amazing to me. So like I want to help out. And she was like, we cultivated a relationship. It was like here and there, like
she's just helping you out. She's trying to help you like, you know, sharpen your eye as you've been doing, yeah.
And like I would help her out. Like I didn't start working with her until like the end of 2018.
Okay.
And like she wanted help shooting the R&B party. And I was just like, yeah, I'm still down. Like, what? So shot that and she loved she appreciated all the stuff. I'm not too sure if she loved it or not, but then she asked me, do you want to shoot DussePalozza? And I'm like, fuck yeah. Like, I went to the one with Cameron in 2017. I had brought my camera. And I was just like, I should take pictures of this shit. And I was just like, I don't want to deal with the hassle of knowing that I have my camera on me. So I was just like, I'll leave it in the car. So I left it in the car. But it come full circle, shot T-Pain, shot the party. They appreciated all of the stuff that I did. And I was just like, okay, cool. Like, this is people that I can rely on and fall back on. And they helped me out a lot throughout 2019. I was able to shoot Made in America, shot DussePalozza in 2019 when came out. YG and Young Nudie came out.
Yeah.
What else? That was around the time that DussePalozza when YG, Young Ferg, ASAP Ferg, I said Young Ferg, Trey Songz, YG, just like everybody came out, and that was the same moment where I printed out photos of Nipsey because he had passed a couple months prior, and I presented them to them, and I gave it to them, and it was just like, here, these are yours. And YG, like, that was, I think, I'm not too sure if I posted it up on Instagram, but that was the moment where, like, he dabbed me up and he was just like, yo, I really appreciate this. This is love. Don't know what he did with them, like, after that.
But the fact that he, in that moment, was, honest about, he appreciated it. That's like one of his homies. And, like, you didn't have to do that. Nobody asked you to do that, but you just felt
compelled to do it.
Yeah, you felt like this would be, like, the cool thing to do.
Yeah.
Well, not cool, but, like, I don't want to say right thing, but, like, the genuine thing to do. I think that's a better word, genuine thing to do.
So that happened. I'm still moving around, taking photos of concerts and stuff like that. And then November comes around. And no, Snow puts out her album. So I'm like, all right, cool. I got to take a picture of Snow. Like, that's it. End of story. I got to take a picture of Snow. Hit up her team, hit up DJ Booth, and they were like, yeah, sure. Like, just find us a contact info and we'll help out. Found her contact info, her management, all that stuff. Reached out to them. They were like, yeah, sure. You have a VIP pass. You have a photo pass. Like, you're good. Show comes around. I'm nervous as dog shit. Don't know what's happening. I'm anxious. Like, I just want to get this over and done with. And I'll meet my boy Drew there, and he eases my nerves tenfold throughout that whole time.
Shout out to Drew.
And boom, I see the lights go down. I see her silhouette, and she's wearing like this sparkly outfit, and I'm like, boom, boom. Photo comes out, and that's the photo that everybody loves. There's more photos from that thing.
But that's like the iconic one. That's the one that I think she reposted on IG story.
She posted on her IG story and then posted on her Instagram.
Yeah.
And
did she tag you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And at that point, that was gratifying as hell. My bad.
All good. You're good. Don't worry about it.
And then somebody randomly sent me, because she was going out on tour again for a second run. And this was like 2018. I mean, 2020. Yeah, 2020.
So early 2020 before COVID.
Yeah.
Okay.
She was going out on another run, and then somebody sent me a screenshot, and it was like on her Spotify thing. I'm like, oh, what the hell? But then I forgot. I was like, yo, you guys can use the photos for anything. I had texted her publicist and manager, like, hey, you guys can use the photos for anything. Like, just here, just take them. Like, I know she loves them, so it was just like, all right, cool, boom. And I was just like, wait, why are you getting mad? Like, you have a relationship with them now that, like, if you wanted to, like, you can just hit them up and be like, oh, yeah, sure, here, boom. So they hit me up on the side and they were like, hey, yeah, like, she loved the photos. She used them. Like, is there an issue? I was like, actually, never mind. Don't worry about it. Like, it's cool. And then they were like, hey, if you want, you can come on like the Northeast tour run. And I'm like, hell yeah. But obviously COVID happened and then everything got shut down. So, but before that point, I shot Roddy, and then that was the silhouette of the light blue silhouette.
Yeah, when he was performing
Brooklyn Steel.
Yes.
That was a hell show. That was hell.
Wait, why was hell?
Not only was it got to the point where it felt like everybody was being crushed.
Oh, okay.
So you know what happened recently.
Yeah, you don't gotta talk about it, but it's kind of like a similar
situation. And I saw one of my homegirls there, and she was trying to get out badly, and I was just like, okay, like I gotta jump into action. So like she was getting out. I helped I helped security pull her out and like save her. But there was just like too many people in that one area, and it was just like his crew was in the photo pit. There was photographers there. Like nobody could move. But obviously, I got an iconic photo out of it there. So like, but still, like at that moment, I was just like, okay, like I can't do these things anymore. Like I can't do like the craziness. COVID happens, everything slows down. I lost relationships, I lost friendships due to certain things that happened during that time. Some of which we can't, I don't want to speak on because it's just like, it's over and done with. The only thing you can do is like accept the fact that you messed up a little bit, and then you just have to move on from it.
Yeah, so it was like a lot of learning lessons have happened during that time.
Yeah, like throughout my whole life, there's been like learning lessons, and I want people to understand that like it's okay to make mistakes, and it's okay to like be what's the word?
Contrite, sad, remorseful
about the stuff that you did, but understand that like you can't go back. You can't go back, and you can't dwell on it. And there's nothing that you can change. Like these people are set in their mind. Like while you may have had good intentions about like certain things that had happened, you also have to understand that like they happened. People felt some type of way, and they just don't mess with you anymore. And you can't be sad about it. You can't be upset about it.
You can be sad about it, but you can't linger on it.
You can't linger on it. Yeah. You just have to be like, okay, cool. So that happens all of 2020. At that point, it's just me trying to figure out like,
what's the next play? What's the next move?
Yeah, what's the next play? What's the next move? I'm just taking pictures of like nature shit now at that point. Barely doing like portraits, barely doing like event stuff.
There was hardly any events.
Yeah. There was like maybe one or two like little things that I did, and I was just like, all right, cool. Like I'm satisfied with this. There's money in my pocket. And then in the beginning of this year, it's just like wanting to do more things and like understanding like, okay, you have to find new relationships, find new ways to get money, find new ways to even like do the things that you love doing. So like Miami Rolling Loud happened, and I desperately wanted to shoot that, like desperately. Didn't get a chance to, but my boy hit me up and he was just like, yo, do you want to shoot the New York one? I'm like, hell yeah. So months go by and he's just like, yo, you're down. Like, don't even worry about it. You're good. And then I finally get the call like, yo, do you want to shoot this? And I'm like, yes. Like, and I had been wanting to shoot Rolling Loud since like 2017. So
this is like a long, full circle kind of like moment for you, because this is like something that you always wanted the opportunity to do it. And during that time, you've been shooting other things, other events, other concerts, other kind of like big grandiose things. Yeah. So you've been kind of getting experience points, and now you're here at this moment. And
it got to a point where I was like, maybe this isn't going to work out. Maybe maybe I should just move on from this. And there's been a bunch of, like, when I say a bunch of times where I almost quit. But I have a good support system with my boy Miguel, my boy Danny, two of my boy Mikes. Just a lot of people like encouraging me and just like telling me like, Nick, you can do this. Don't dwell on like the fact that you cannot find a way to like get into these spaces. Understand that like, you can do this. You know that like you're talented enough to do this, It's just a matter of like waiting for your opportunity. And my opportunity came. I think I killed it. I'm not too sure if I did. But I had one of the people who run Rolling Loud hit me up and he was like, yo, like, we love the content that you made for this weekend. Like, we want you to shoot for us more. And at that point, that's all I needed. Like, that's all I was like, okay, I've made it, quote unquote.
Well, you made it to that level because there's so much more for you to do, right? Because you've seen a lot of your peers, shoot for higher level things. Like,
and that was my first time on a media team ever.
Yeah.
Like, it's been...
Wait, weren't you part of CultureCon?
No.
You weren't part of CultureCon.
No.
I know, I think Raven was?
She might have been, and then my boy Krishana was...
Yeah, there was a lot of other, there was a lot of photographers. I thought you were there, but...
No. Yeah. I wanted to go, but it just didn't work out. But, like, it's been a long journey of just, like, mistakes, right ideas, just, like, wrong timing, right idea. Like, it's just been a lot of just, like, stuff that has happened within the past year and a half to... Not even year and a half, yet last 4 years for me to like understand that like, okay, like you belong, you just have to find a way. And I think a lot of people don't understand that. They're just like, oh, they see the photos. They're just like, okay, he knows what he's doing. And like, shit is not easy. Like I shot for Puma. And that was like an experience in itself because I had full creative control of like that shoot that I did. And I've never really had that experience of like fully creative directing like everything. And like where I want to get to is get to a point where like I'm not really shooting anymore. Like I'm shooting, but I'm not really shooting. But like putting together a team that have like talented individuals that can
be under you that can do that, and you can just kind of like lead that direction of it. Right? Yeah. So questions, right?
Yes.
So just by listening to all the experiences of you doing these big time moments with the Frank Ocean, with Solange, with capturing Vic again, with finally get to Rolling Loud. I remember when you were talking about like the early times that you pick up the camera, like these weren't good, right? Did you ever get to a point of like, yo, these are good? Like even when you said for Rolling Loud and you got that kudos from the people that kind of like run it, like, yo, like Nick, you do really good work. Did you ever get to a point that's like your pictures are good, or does that never get better in your brain where you just, because I feel like as an artist you're gonna be always nitpicking till you get a perfect thing.
I'm always nitpicking now. So I never get satisfied with what I do.
Okay.
I think that's just the person that like I grew up to be, and the person that like the people raised me to be. Like I always want to be better friend, better person, better everything. Like I always want to do better and get better at everything. So it's not an easy thing to like let go of. So like understand like, yeah, Nick, like you're good at what you do. These are amazing. Just be happy that these are amazing. I can't get to that point.
Well, I don't want to tell you to be happy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's kind of like the whole, when you're content, you don't continue to have the hunger to keep leveling up. But like at that moment where you can be like, I'm not going to say it's perfect, right? But it's like, these are good. Because like before you, like these pictures were right? And even with something like the snow, like did you actually feel like that picture was good? Or is like you were just kind of relieved that someone else likes it?
No, I knew that photo was good because Raven was just picked it out.
Ah, okay.
Raven picked, I wasn't going to post that one. I was going to post, there was a red one that everybody loves too. It was like, she was looking back. I was going to post that one. Wasn't going to post the blue one. If Raven picked it out and she was just like, crop this down. I was like, okay, cool. Cropped it down to like that little square box. Boom, took off. So, yeah, I there's times where I look at some of my photos now, like even Rolling Loud, where I'm just like, these are horrible. The focus is out. Like, he's not even in frame. Like, he or she's not even in frame. It's been like that for a while. Like, but what I can say is like I'm trying to understand and just ease myself into like, no, these are good. Like what you did was good. Not everything has to be in focus. Not everything has to be like of like a certain like
following the rules of photography and all those like the levels of 3 or whatever. Like you just said, like the focus and they're not center. Like, cause I was about to say, like, even for the fact of like listening to Raven, right, and just having like that slight outside opinion that, you know, someone that is a trusted peer to you, that'd be like, yeah, this is good too. Like, it's not like you're not wrong with your original thing of like these pictures, but sometimes I feel like we're so used to seeing it one way that sometimes we have someone come touch us on our shoulders like, yeah, but these are cool too. Like, you may not see it because you're looking at everything that's wrong with it, but there's some good things in it. And I think that's what is a little hard when we're doing something creative that we're really passionate about, because then you're like looking at it like everything has to be perfect, where I think sometimes it'd be funny, like sometimes the mistakes in whatever medium you're doing it in actually works out. Like, I'm not going to talk about this artist because he's technically kind of like abusive to women, but there's like a particular song that he made, and the mistake audio wise actually made it a hit song. So I'm not going to say the song, I'll tell you off air, but it's like one of those things where a mistake makes it even better. So I really appreciate you, even the rawness of your transparency. So like right now, what do you like outside of building a team? What are the things you kind of want to do aside from continuing to be like Nick, getting better photography, getting better equipment? Like, what are you trying to do?
I'm trying to. The funny thing is, I'm trying to just get in a position where I'm at peace. Like, I'm at peace right now, but I want to get to a place where I'm like okay with everything.
Okay.
So I there's always this saying where it's like happiness is a fleeting feeling.
Absolutely.
And you never want to like continue to bank on happiness.
Mm-hmm.
You want to be at peace with everything.
Yeah.
I'm happy with some of the stuff that I've done and I'm at peace with it. But I want to get to a place where I'm at peace with everything. Job, life, work, my photos. Like, I want to get to a place where I'm at peace.
Okay.
And that is going to be the hardest thing. That has been the hardest thing for me, because I'm like, I always want to get better. I always want to do this. I always want to do that. You can't, like, I'm chasing moments of fleeting happiness. Like, you're going to be happy one moment and then be like
sad or depressed.
Yeah, like literally right after Rolling Loud, I was depressed right after it, because it was just like, fuck, what do I have to look forward to next? Because that was the only one thing that I was looking forward to. Like, I want to shoot the LA one, but they're doing it regionally, and it's just like it's probably not going to work out. But like, it's just a lot of things that I want to be at peace at. Work, like I said, work, life, relationships, family. Like, I just want to be at peace, and just trying to find a new job and operating in a space where it's just like you have to be very, very selective of what you say in like the candidate process of like working. It's a little hard trying to do that, especially when you want to like boast and like say like, hey, I've done this and done this and done this. But at the same time, people just don't want to hear it.
Yeah, it's like something that, you know, in my day-to-day, they don't really know of my hobbies. And I think it's really interesting. It's kind of like we're doing like Clark Kent Superman things.
Yeah.
Like anything that's Superman, like that's cool for like outside things, I don't talk about it in interviews because they really don't care. Because in their mind, it's like, it's going to keep you from focus on the work. When in actuality, me really crushing it at work helps me to be a better Superman. Yeah. So it's very interesting with that. But I think for you, because we've had conversations and I'm trying to like figure out like how I can help you in whatever connection I have. I just think that next place for you, when you find that good space for you, that you can like, you know, enjoy that work environment and be Nick there and also just crush it. And hopefully you can tap into some of your other kind of like skills.
Yeah, because I just don't want to focus on the concert stuff. Like,
yeah.
The stuff that I enjoy doing the most is like being person to person with somebody and taking their photo, like doing portrait stuff, or even doing event stuff, like seeing people in their like at their most like enjoyable moment and capturing it is fire as hell. Yeah, like having people have photos of them of those moments, they love that and they genuinely appreciate it. So I want to get like. I still want to do the concert stuff, but I also want to get out of that and break up that like little stigma and do like more portraits, more album cover stuff, more like single stuff, and just because that work lives on forever.
Yeah, you want to continue to capture and be part of iconic movements or iconic moments. So, no, Nick, I think it's amazing. We didn't talk about your website. So before we kind of like get out of here, because you have is it still up? The Nick W NYC?
Yeah, still up.
Because I had it's a hyperlink on my paper. So is this where people can see kind of like your portfolio and ask you for services? Like how does that website work for you?
Yeah, so people can go to that website and like look through some of the stuff that I've done. I haven't updated it since like the end of 2020.
So you have homework to do.
Yeah, I have a lot of homework to do. They can go there, see the work that I've done, and then they can also reach out to me, like if they want to, like the website I had up, but like the website, Billboard reached out to me and was like, "Hey, do we want to use one of your Nipsey photos?" Reached out. It's in the 2019 Power Players edition, the one with the baby on the front cover.
Yeah,
my photo's in there, and that was just like a surreal moment to see, because it's just like, oh shit, like
they reached out to you, they got it done.
Yeah, and like that's gonna live forever. Like I still have the magazine like in like a safe space. So like when I'm ready to frame it, like move out and shit, I can be like, no, like that's my shit.
Yeah.
So there's that. People can just reach out to me and be like, hey, what's an estimate for you doing this or you doing that? And it's easy. It's the easiest thing because it goes straight to my email. I see it. I respond right away.
Okay. Yo, Nick, let these people know how they can contact you outside of the website. Like not your personal, because that's for you and your friends. But like your Instagram, your Twitter, like which social media do you want to blast out on this episode?
I'll blast out all three.
All right, do it, bro. You're here.
You can reach me at NickWNYC _ on Twitter, NickWNYC on Instagram. I'm very responsive on both. Like all you need to do is just hit me up on there. My email is connected to the website, so you just fill out the contact box, and they'll send me a form that I need to reply to. Yeah, just contact me. Like I'm an open book. Like I can talk to you about any and everything, and you'll get advice out of it, and you'll just be like, "How the hell do you know these things?"
Nick, it's been a pleasure, guys.
It's been a pleasure.
This is Nick Watkin without the S. If you say it with the S, it's still the same Nick. I'm your host, Skip from BK. Shout out to Slept On Creatives. They're like the people that edit the video, they make the audio crisp and all those type of stuff right there. So shout out to Tatiana. I know they're traveling, they're doing their work stuff, so shout out to them. This is powered by Covalpa. That is like my entity, that's my baby. And if you don't know who I am by now, I'm Skip from Cave. I don't even know why you're listening to that. Maybe it's because of Nick. I understand Nick is a very quiet, reclusive person. Like he's a hidden gem of our city. But yo, guys, until next time. Yo, shout out to Nick. Shout out to us. Shout out to you.
Skip.
And okay, yeah, shout out to me. But we'll talk to you guys later. Peace.
Later.
All right. And all right, we are back for the bonus cutscene thing. I feel like you should know how this works when we make sure you get all the information. So you just listened to me have an amazing conversation, amazing dialogue with Nick Watkin. So there's no S. It's not Watkins. It's Watkin. If you want to tap in with Nick, you can follow him on Twitter at NickWNYC _ and on Instagram is NickWNYC. So just plain Nick WNYC on Instagram. If you want to reach out to Nick when you want to contact him for his services, it's www.n. I was about to spell out the whole URL, but it's www.nickwnYC.com /contact. So once again, www.nickwnYC.com /contact. I'm your host, Skip from BK. You should know that. Keep up with me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and all those other social media platforms at Skip from BK. This podcast is powered by Cove Alpha, so keep in tune with us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And last but certainly not least, this is a podcast that is edited audio visually by the leaders over there at Slept On Creatives. That is Katiana and Jomo. So show some love. Reach out to them if you want to work with them on some projects. They would love to support through compensation, of course. So make sure you do that. And we catch up with you and see you soon. All right. Peace.